Hey y'all, it's me, Unapologetically T, and I'm gonna do a video. I guess I'll do T's reflection since T's inner thoughts, excuse me, since I'll be reflecting and all that good jazz. But how was y'all weekend? I'll jump into mine. Mine was, I don't like to say like struggle anymore because I know what struggle is and this ain't it. But like it was somewhat challenging. A couple of things happened. I think that kind of led to me being emotional. But like one of them was everybody knows that is into hip hop culture. Like Rich Homie Quan passed away, and it was due to what they said was an overdose. Um, for me, that's always a topic of passion for me. It will always be a topic of passion for me because I feel like our system has failed a lot of our people, and it has intentionally failed a lot of our people. There's a whole crisis going on right now with fentanyl, and it's just I'll call it fentanyl, but it's probably pronounced fentanyl. But I told y'all, if you watch these videos, I'll mess the word up, but it's based on what I feel. So this ain't a joking matter though. I definitely like that. Just I don't know. That was kind of like a trigger for me. So, and also like we've lost a dope person, we've lost a talented person. So like it's just a lot. So I found myself thinking about my brother, and Dante, and some other deceased people in my life. Like I lost my god sister to an overdose too. It's a lot of people I've lost, and I never really like paid attention to those losses, but because I was living in a system that didn't even allow for it. I remember when my god sister passed away, I was teaching, and I had came back. I At that time I had started developing like stomach ulcers and all kinds of shit. And I remember coming back, and I remember the principal saying something slick about me missing days. Not to mention that I was a first year teacher, and um I've always, as a kid, got sick by the slightest, like anybody can come around me and get me sick. So being a first year teacher, you definitely know that you are going to get sick. And so I had doctor's notes, and it wasn't like I was just out there partying, taking off. And I remember that being one of the things in my evaluation, like I missed too many days. And I felt like, fuck you. Like I have a doctor's excuse. Can't tell me I'm missing too many days. That's what the system get me fucked up at. Like, you're not about to put my health before this job. I mean, you're not gonna put this job before my health. Like, but I just remember that, and I remember not being able to grieve her properly. Like, I got back. It was some situations with two of the students. Um, it was like, back and forth. He say, she say. Parents got involved in the argument, and the kids did come and tell me what was going on. Me being a first year teacher, didn't know what to do with that situation, was grieving the loss of my god sister. And then I went and reported it to another teacher who was over me. So like she was the one that, like, when you're a first year teacher, you get like a mentor. Whereas in my mentors in my first year of teaching failed me. I had to get switched out from one because she was toxic as hell. And I understand why she was toxic as hell. And I understood damn. But however, that's not my problem. Like, I don't want that shit. I understand, you've been here and it's not all peaches and cream and rainbows. But, I'm new, and I'm coming in with passion, and I'm happy about it. So it didn't work out. Long story about that one short. It didn't work out, so they gave me another one. And she was very passive, so we didn't really have any problems, but she wasn't very helpful. She was very smart and knowledgeable. Even the one that I had problems with was very smart and knowledgeable, but it was just like, I think, burnout. So with that one, I went and reported to her what the kids told me. She kind of was like, brushed it off as it wasn't, nothing serious. We'll just keep our eye out for it. Long story short, you know, because I rushed myself to come back, my judgment wasn't, clear. But long story short, like one of the parents ended up getting um the the parent of the girl who I think the dad threatened to come. He like a parent threatened to come and do something on one of the kids. However, like, we had talked to the other parents, and it was basically kids going back and forth and all that stuff. So however, one of the parents of the girls who felt threatened, which I felt like she had all rights to as a mother, yes, contacted the principal and was letting them know that this was going on and that her child had reported it to me. And I'm like, yeah, her child did report it to me, and I reported it to my mentor. And because I didn't know what to do with it, so I reported it to my mentor. And my mentor told me it was all right. Well, we both ended up getting written up. And I kind of felt like ever since then, like I was already going through, I hated the job. This might have even been, I don't know who this is. This might have even been like, I don't know. I think this was my first year of teaching. I can't remember. Like, I suffered a lot of brain damage over the years, and I'm not joking. Like, I literally suffered a lot of brain damage. That's one of the things people don't talk about with abuse, is that literally, you can suffer from brain fog, you can suffer from memory loss, you can suffer from a lot of different shit. And so, when it comes to like accurate time periods, like I am not good at that. But when it comes to the details, like I remember a lot of it. So I just remember that being like something that made me feel like, well, y'all already don't fucking treat me well here. And I'm already new. I'm already trying to do my best for the kids, because this is what the fuck is for, right? And it was kind of like my last straw in my mind mentally. Like, I'm getting written up because I actually did tell the proper protocol. Like, I literally went to the person that y'all gave me to contact. And I rarely spoke to my principal because she was horrible. Like, she was the most passive aggressive white woman. Like, if you are a black woman and you have worked in spaces with white women, she was that. Like, she was one of those white women where it was like, I did not want to deal with her, and I did not go to her for if it had to be in a fucking emergency. I did not go to her. I was told by this white woman that my kids couldn't read because I couldn't read. Why the fuck would I want to go to you? Like, it was abuse, and I think a lot of us have workplace abuse, and I've turned up in there before. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat that shit. Like, when I had a sister girl moment where I wanted to smack the fuck out the lady who I said was my mentor before, like, cause she was playing with me. She was playing with me, and I felt like she was very manipulative and cried wolf, whereas, and I was very, like, much letting her know, like, you're not gonna run me, and just because I'm young, you're not gonna run on top of me. And I had my breaking point. I had my breaking point with the principal. I just had a horrible experience, and it was never the kids. And I feel like, why the fuck am I in a system or a job? And I actually love what I'm doing with the kids, but now it's getting to the point where I can't even perform for the kids because y'all done fucking drained the shit out of me. So it was just like, that job was draining. I always tell people who are in the education system, if you are there, you found your footing, your grounding, my heart goes out to you. A lot of people do not know how hard your job is. You get paid fucking nothing. I spent a lot of money into my classroom. Like, you educators put so much of their own money and their own time and love into those kids and to those classrooms that they do not give us enough to do that job. So people who are literally there, they're either there and they started out passionate and they burnt out. And so you get teachers that are burnt out, tired, and they have lost their passion and they have lost sight of what they were there for. And those are the ones that are very detrimental to our kids. But they're not going anywhere because they have not been presented that they have other options, and they think that that's basically where they have to stay, and they're basically collecting a check. Um, so, and then there are some that are really, really teaching your children, but the personality there, you just really don't want your kid to be subjected to that, because it's toxic. And then you have teachers that are there that is passionate and is trying to make changes within a system that is broken, and that's how burnout happens. So they end up staying true to themselves, or they end up being in the burnt out party. Then you just got those that are neutral, and they are able to you know collect the check, still don't be bitter, and maybe your child just isn't learning anything. So you got some different ones up in there. I just say make them people do their jobs, be on their ass, and work together with them too. That was another thing that I saw problems with, is in the urban areas, in the areas where most people are working to provide for their children, so they're not really able to be as involved. I do want to let y'all know that parental support is everything. I was talking about deaths and substance abuse, and I got onto this, and I'm not taking it out, but parental support in the school system changes a lot. However, please don't be helicopters. Do not be helicopter parents. Be parents that are going to advocate for your children. Be parents that are going to actually participate and, be up to par and support the actual school that your child goes to. It changes a whole lot. It changes a whole lot. It won't change the testing stuff that's around that, but you could. It could if more parents got involved and more people got involved and said, "Hey, look, this is a flawed system and it's not working." It could. So I think though we need to start at a lower level of parental involvement, and weeding and seeding people who need to be in that system and people who don't. Um, I know one day it'll get better. Just don't know when. But yeah, I was talking about, basically that led me to, like, just being, I just hate the work environments that do not allow for you to be human, right? It's just like, you have all these life events lifing, and no one gives a fuck. And I just hate that. That is one of the reasons why I decided to be my own boss, because who's gonna care about me more than me? And that's a nobody. So, but me. So I have found supervisors who were very fucking caring. So let me say that my last job that I left, two of my supervisors were very loving and caring, and that's why I performed so high. Well, I tried to, until I got burnt out, because there was another supervisor who wasn't even my supervisor, but she definitely had a lack of staff on her end, and I definitely felt sorry for her. So I definitely would burn myself out on helping her out, and then it got to the point where I wasn't even doing the job that I was supposed to be doing. So, like, I just say my heart goes out to those that are in the toxic work environments. There are so many great people in these toxic work environments that are staying true to yourself. I say that as long as you can, stay where you at. We need you there. But the moment that it becomes that is not beneficial for you anymore and your family anymore, like, please do find somewhere else to be. Not everybody are entrepreneurs, so no, I don't want everybody to quit their job and start their own business. You do what's called to you, but I do want people to know that you do not have to put up with a toxic cesspool. Yeah, because if you do expire, they will replace you very quickly. So, take care of you. But back to what I originally was talking about, just substance abuse, addiction. Yeah, it just made me start thinking about the people I lost to certain stuff, and My brother and Dante comes up for me very frequently. The lady who overdosed in the car comes up for me frequently when I hear about people who are struggling or expires. I don't like expire. I would say um crossover, passover, um, to the other side. But yeah, like we really have a problem. And maybe education is tied to it because they damn sure are making predictions based off whether people can read on grade level by a certain age. So, I do think all these flawed systems are tied. It's all designed um, for certain people not to excel. I think the fucked up part about it, which, is kind of the irony of it is that the traps that was set for us is now being, set for everyone. Like everyone is falling into it. But I do find it funny that when white people start falling for the traps that they set up for everybody else, that's when they call it a psych disorder or they can label it a health condition. Like when black people, when the crack epidemic hit, when opiates were taking black people out in the 80s, like it was a drug problem. Then we made a war on drugs. But then when things died down for us and then, little Susie and little Johnny start picking up things, when the whole opioid thing started back up, but it started up as painkillers and stuff like that, and nobody were really educated that just like you're literally taking a pretty pill of opiates. Um, like everybody was just popping them like they were candy, and including kids, and that's when and I mean kids definitely in suburban areas, like that's when, oh, drug addiction is a mental health thing. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. Like, no shit. So it's like, that's the part that kind of like grind my gears. Like, whew, it's so sick and sadistic to care for one group of people and not care about another group of people. Like, that's a mental health disorder in itself. Some would say, it's the devil and y'all are demons. I might not disagree, entities and stuff like that. But I don't think you know, this is for white people as a whole. I think for real, the common white person is getting fucked over. And I think they're starting to realize that too. Like it ain't just us. Nigga, they even fucking y'all too. So we all niggas. And we just got treated the worst out of all the niggas. So, and that does not warrant anyone that is not black to say nigga. Not around me anyway. I don't know what the fuck you black people do with you, but this black person, we're not doing that. So, yeah, like that definitely came up for me. I woke up Saturday morning. I had to have a little crying session. I just, it's like the death with Dante, it really, really has went, like my grieving process has went better than I could ever imagine. Literally I used to thought like back in the day, like if that man was to go, like what would I do? And it's actually weird because him leaving actually made me stronger. However, like I spent 11 years with that man and I miss him sometimes. And I mean, I miss him every day. just know that I miss him every day in certain aspects, but certain days are harder than the others. Like it can be more intense and, missing the person. So Saturday was one of those days where I just like had to bawl my eyes out. Like I did not had it. Like Charlotte came in the room and she was like, she thought I was like playing or something. Cause I guess she really don't see me be vulnerable much. So like, and I want to change that. Like I want to let her know I'm human. Like I probably seen my mom cry 2 or 3 times out of my whole fucking lifetime. Like no lie. I'ma say 2, 3 at the most. But yeah, like My mama was a real nigga. And she was a small little thing when I was younger. Like when my most of my childhood, I would say like, yeah, most of my childhood, like my mom was 120 pounds soaking wet, but she was not fit to be fucked with. And she was like a nigga. And she raised me to be like a nigga. And even though it cheated me out of softness, I still have opportunity to gain that, and I'm learning it. I'm learning how to, be able to relax and not go full fledged into everything. Just I don't know, softness for me is just not just being patient and knowing that things are gonna work out regardless. Not having that I'm gonna have my drive period, but having this drive that is out of like this mind frame that like if I don't do it, no one else will. Um, just knowing that like whatever I get done is what I get done for today, and everything else, like that's my softness that I needed to learn. I think softness looks different for all of us, but I think worry was which they say worry is a feminine trait. However, I feel like for me, not worrying is allowing me to be in my femininity. Like I never got to be in that because I always had to worry about how things were going to get resolved and how things were going to pan out, and I was the one in charge of that. So like still being in charge of, my own life, and but still realizing like, God got me, my spirit team got me, what's meant for me is meant for me, and I'm gonna be okay regardless. And that was something that came up too this weekend. Now that I'm talking about softness, I keep going different places, and I'm not gonna edit it or take it out. I think it is good for you guys to see me in my raw form because I have been doing good lately, and I'm still doing good, but I haven't. I don't feel like I've had one of those videos where I've showed some more vulnerable parts of me. I mean all my videos are vulnerable parts of me, but I guess like the soft vulnerable parts of me, the sadness, like what makes me sad and what makes me, the parts that I try to hide from people is what I'm saying. So like anger, I don't try to hide that. I want you to know I'm pissed off sometimes. So, but being sad, definitely is one. Putting myself in a state where I have to be vulnerable with other people is one. So, me learning how to do that is helping my softness. But anyway, so my daughter, she came in and she was like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, I'm over here fucking crying. Like, what do you mean? What am I doing? That's what I said. I was like, "What do you mean? What am I doing?" And she was like, "Oh, I thought you was playing." She was like, "Oh, now I feel bad because I just came at you all wrong." Like, and I was like, "You don't gotta feel bad, G. No." Like, and I was like, "It's not like I cry around you all the time. So, like, you probably did know I was crying." And and then she was like, "But why are you crying?" Well, she asked me that when she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm crying." She was like, "Why are you crying?" And I was like, "Because I miss Dante." And she was like, "Oh, okay." Now I feel bad because, like her energy was coming at me like in this joking way, and she just didn't know that, like, no, I'm seriously sad. And it was cool though, because we ended up having a conversation about him, and we talk about him anyway, but like that was helpful to get through that little wave of sadness. And looking at pictures for me always help. I would say that if I did not have the pictures, like I definitely probably would have had a harder time. I do feel too when I went to get my psychic development attunement and my Reiki attunement, that helped a lot. Like a lot of my meditation was basically releasing of pain that I had from him and releasing of anger that I had towards him. Um, what happened, and I'll never be able to forget the things that happened between us. But I'm just tired of holding on to someone's, pain and not someone's. I'm just tired of holding on to the pain that I feel towards him and the anger that I had towards him when he's not even here any longer. Like, what can he do about that shit? Like, and I've come to a place of peace that I came to early on in the grieving process, is that like we were meant to be together. Like, it was no ifs, ands, and fucking buts about it. Like, me and that man was meant to be together. Too many things lined up, like too many synchronicities lined up. Like, we were supposed to be together. Now, was we supposed to hold on to each other that long? I don't think so. But life is life, and there's no regrets. I think we were meant to teach each other stuff, and we did just that. And I think the trade-off was, I got to show him, like, you don't have to be fucking wilding in hell all the time. Like, you can find your joy on earth and have fun. And just a lot of other things too, like unconditional love. Like, literally, that man couldn't do nothing wrong. He could. People thought he couldn't in my eyes, but he could. He could do wrong, but it was just like, he could do wrong and try to figure out how to get it right with me, opposed to feeling like, if he do wrong, he was just nothing to me anymore. So, like, I felt like when it got to a point where, like, he wasn't showing up to play the game anymore, like, that's when it was for me. I don't know who the fuck this person is, but what we not gonna do that, because somebody gonna get hurt. So, and I didn't want it to be me. So yeah, like, we definitely had a trade-off. He helped me with some of my naive green ways. He helped me with, even though he didn't realize, like, I was basically raised, I probably was raised more fucking project than he was. But I guess I don't present that way. So, like, he didn't even realize, like, some of the shit I already knew. I just have a loving heart. But he definitely got that together. Like, okay, loving heart. I'm gonna need you to have a loving heart and some balls too. Like, don't let nobody keep treating you bad. Which I already definitely kind of knew. But I think with him, it was like this thing that stuck. Because I definitely, in my 10 years, I went through a phase where, like, it was fuck you. And I think that's the difference between learning it with him and learning it throughout life. I think throughout life, I came to it with the approach of anger. So it was like, okay, you're not going to walk over top of me. Like, it's anger coming behind this. Whereas, and I felt like with him, it was more of like, you're just not going to treat me any kind of way. And it didn't click for me until he passed away. So it's just like, you're not going to treat me any kind of way. I don't have to be nasty to you for you not to treat me no any kind of way. But you're not going to treat me no any kind of way. Now, if you want to go there, we can go there. And I tell people all the time, like, I don't know. Like, people treat me like I'm sweet, and I am sweet, but I could be sour too. So, and I think that's the misconception. Like, if you are a person who are watching these videos, you might be watching them for, like, malicious intent, I would say leave kind-hearted people alone. Just because someone is kind-hearted and quote-unquote good does not mean they won't fuck you up. So I would definitely say, if you're one of the people who watches these videos and you do not have the best intentions in life, leave good people alone. It's not a good idea. I find most good people, they done been through some things, and, they definitely, even the ones that ain't been through some things, they got some people protecting them, whether it's, spiritual or in the physical realm. So, like, be careful out here. But yeah, I learned a lot from that man. That's just to name one of the biggest ones, but I learned a lot from him. And some of them were hard lessons, and they hurt, but that makes them non-forgettable. Can never forget that. So yeah, the love I have for him is definitely undeniable. I'm not going to hide it. I will say, if you are a young girl, if you are a grown woman or a grown man, and maybe you found my videos because I talk about narcissistic abuse, please, by no means, if you are still in a narcissistic relationship, do you watch these videos and think that you should stay with your person just because I'm romanticizing, my person. I feel like literally the videos when I talk about my grief for my partner, like they are not meant for people who are currently going through those things. Those videos where I talk about my grief are meant for people who have already left their person, or for people who have actually lost that person through death. So I would say, if you are currently and actively staying in a situation with a narcissistic person and you've realized that the person is narcissistic, family member, friend, partner, whatever it may be, go find a support group. Go find some people who know what you're going through. Shit, book me. I know what you're going through. Our conversation is going to be way different than this. I know that when I was actually in the midst of trying to leave, whole another ball game than me in the midst of grieving. So trying to leave, I needed anger. I needed a lot of anger. I needed a lot of encouragement, love, and support. And I needed a lot of I don't give two fucks what happened to this person if I leave. So, two different ball games. If you are a person and you're in a narcissistic situation, this video is not good for you, because it might have you romanticizing some things, because I'm romanticizing our relationship now, because there were some very romantic situations. If you've been in narcissistic abuse or you've been in domestic violence relationships, whatever you want to view it through, whatever lens you want to look at it through, then you know that your relationships typically have some very high points. That's what get us addicted to being in the relationship. Like, there are some really, really great times, and there's also some really low ones, and then there's that calm and that peace that both of y'all just feel like, what the fuck is this? Like, I need some thrill. So, like, I definitely will say, if you are experiencing narcissistic abuse and you're currently in that situation, don't watch these videos. Skip to some of my other ones where I talk about how fucked up it was, or or how I had to get out, how I had to save myself. Go find some narcissistic abuse resources in your community, like Google, see if someone have groups, all that stuff. So I definitely and there's resources out there, like there's worldwide resources, like there's people who has dealt with this shit, and then there's people who has not, and they do not know what the fuck you're feeling, what the fuck you're going through, and it's okay. Thank God that they did not get that path. That's what I kind of say when it comes to like drugs, like, thank God I didn't get that path, but I'm not about to judge nobody and look down on nobody because that's their path. Like, a lot of people don't realize we all have our own paths, and your story is important. And I just hope that people who have different and challenging paths, even the most struggling and horrific paths, that you come out on the other side. And I think that was one of the things I struggled with Saturday, is that me and this man was supposed to come out on the other side together, and we did not. I came out on the other side and he did not. And that hit me. That was a person that I felt like I was gonna spend the rest of my life with. Like, we literally called each other husband and wife, but we were not in the sense of legally marriage. It was common law marriage, which I'm not even sure if my state even recognizes anymore. But and we've had moments where we were ready to pull the trigger on marriage, but it just like did not make sense to us as far as building. So we would definitely like change tunes, but I had a ring. It wasn't everything. Like, it wasn't the most thing. But I'm such a calm. I'm not like, oh, I'm such a common person. Like, I really am. And like, so I really didn't care. Like that the ring wasn't of value. It was a value to me because it was given to me. So um yeah, like there were, and I don't really feel like a piece of paper could have made me and that man any closer. Like, we really were close. um Even when we like first connected, like I used to call him my spiritual partner. And then like I remember one time he had got locked up, and he was explaining our relationship to one of the COs in there, and the COs was like, "Oh, it's not like y'all twin flames, because like we had this tumultuous like relationship, and it was just like we never, um, it was like when one of us was happy, the other one wasn't. It was like this just constant battle of trying to make the other one feel better when no one was really trying to focus on making themselves whole in the relationship." And I don't think it started to become that, and towards the end, and it was his refusal of trying to continue to like be consistent and work on himself, whereas it was me over there like, I'm literally going to therapy sometimes because of you. Like, I'm trying to figure out how I can fix you. Like, I'm learning shit to fix myself, and then I'm bringing it back trying to fix you. So it's like, I will say that's a message to men. A message to men is, there are so many women going to therapy, and a lot of times they're going to therapy, and some of them don't even need the work themselves. Not to say that somebody's perfect, but like they're literally going to therapy trying to figure out how to fix you. So that's my message to men. I feel like if you're not comfortable with therapy, please find another male friend or person you can trust, whether it's female, whatever, like a platonic person that you can go confide in, you could go get sound advice from, somebody that's going to check you and give you the space to get to a point where you can check yourself. Because a lot of times, a lot of women are going to therapy for some of their problems is their problems, because we're not perfect. But I see a lot of times women going to therapy for the problems of the men that they are cohabitating with, but the men won't go. So whether it's therapy, whatever your jam is, it could be going to talk to your pastor at the church. Like, find somebody, please. Because it's too much for us. It's too much for us. And I'ma just leave that there. I felt like saying that. But that was one of the things, like towards the end, I just kept begging for therapy. I was just like, we need to go to therapy. I even got him to go to therapy, but the nigga went to therapy and was talking about our relationship problems. And I'm like, bro, you need to go to therapy for you. Why did you go in there and tell this lady that, like, you don't understand, why we arguing and all that shit? Like, I'm not even there. Like, why did you even go there? Like, when I'm going to therapy, shit, I kept all your shit to myself just about. Like, I'm going in there trying to figure out, how to fix a real nigga. And which was myself. And however, I was finding out tools that definitely felt like they could fit for him as well. So, like, he just didn't get it. And then, like, it was like when we broke up, like, all right, we could go to therapy. I remember, matter of fact, before we broke up, I remember he definitely set up a therapy session, which he paid for out of fucking pocket. The night before, got fucking so high, I just didn't. I was like, you know what, we ain't going to therapy anymore. And I'm not gonna make him get up for therapy. Like, this is not where it's at. Like, I was like, it was just so many signs before I left. Like, I was just like, this is the worst it's ever been. Like, it's not talking about getting better, it's getting worse. It's declining on a fucking slippery slope. Like, and when I tell you parts and pieces and nuggets of it, this is nothing. This is just things that struck out to me, as in, like, I knew he wasn't, trying anymore. So, but like, there were real, like, big ass goddamn flags with skulls and bones on them, painted all black and white, and saying bitch leave. So there were others moments, but I'm just trying to be lighthearted for whatever purpose I'm being lighthearted for. I don't know, but that was one of the things, and it was like, nigga, why would you even waste your money? Like, you did this like 2 weeks in advance. Like, why the night before? Like, nigga, you was doing good all the way up until the night before. You gonna wait till it's time to go to therapy. And then I remember that being one of the things, like, when I left, he was like, well, we can go to therapy now. Like, nigga, I don't care. Like, I've been asking for therapy for years now, and then you finally set the shit up, and then you gonna fall asleep. You gonna get high and go to sleep, like comatose sleep. Like, that was one of the things he would do. He would binge, and it was like, it could be 3 to 4 days up all night. I used to be like, his brain gonna be fucking fried. And then that was like coupled by like 2 or 3 days of just sleep all day, get up to go to the bathroom or to eat and go back to sleep. And I think that's like it's just like, I didn't know who he was anymore. Like, I never really even got to see him, even though we lived in the same house together. Like, I didn't get to see him. I didn't get to be around him, the person that I fell in love with. It was just more like, it was this thing. It was this thing, walking around inside him. And I feel like if you know, if you've been in those situations, then you know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to like go into details about it, but it just definitely wasn't him anymore for me. Now, I do have conversations with other people, and it sound like, it was this peekaboo effect. Like, even when I left, like, it was parts of him that was still there, but rarely was it. And, it just, I don't know. I'm happy I chose myself. I still have the text messages, like, before he passed. Like, we had an argument. It was me choosing myself, and I still had a text message. One day I would get on here and read it. It's eerie, right? Before he died, and I say this laughingly, but it's eerie as fuck. Before he died, matter of fact, I feel like in October, my protective order had ran out. So we was on no contact, and he would constantly try to break no contact, and all the odd ways that he would try. Like, I had to block him in my phone, on social media, and then like he would get to me and he would like message me on like my Google Photos or something, and he'll send a photo. Like, he did shit like that, or he'll send a song, and it was just like, stop fucking playing with me. I used to have to like literally act like I cared about none of that stuff, when deep down inside I cared a whole lot. And but I think like in October he had reached out, and he was like, well, we got court coming up, because I could have pressed the issue. However, I probably wasn't gonna get my protective order extended because he had not done anything outside. Like, I probably could have showed her he was trying to contact me, but he had did nothing outside of the like popping up and all that stuff anymore. However, no, the biggest issue was, I think, that he was never served. So for protective orders to be effective, far as him getting in trouble for breaking the protective order, like, he would have literally physically had to be served, which he was smart, so he was never gonna answer the door for the police. And he just was smart, so like, he wasn't even gonna do all that. So, and the police ain't gonna hunt you down and try to serve you. So literally, his defense would be that he didn't know that I had got a protective order. So it was literally getting to a point where, like, things far as my safety, I had started to feel like I had a dream and everything. I had a dream that I was sitting in my apartment, my old apartment, and it was so realistic. It was crazy. Like I could never forget this dream. It was so vivid and everything. And it might be astral projection because I definitely did not forget anything about that dream. But I was like literally, it was almost as if I was like not dreaming. Like I was literally laying on my couch, which I was laying on my couch while I was dreaming, and I was watching catfish, and which I would do sometimes. I probably was watching catfish on the couch. I was watching catfish. However, this was nighttime. And in the dream, it was daytime and it was nice outside. And so I had like a storm door, and I didn't have the door shut. So I have my door and then the storm door. The storm door was shut, but the storm door couldn't lock. So this door was open, and I'm just, sitting on the couch, and something wakes me up. Like I'm dreaming in my dream. Something wakes me up and was like, girl, you done got too comfortable. Like, why you got this screen door? Why you got this door open and it don't lock? That nigga after you. Like, what are you doing? Like, get up and go close that door. So as soon as I get up to go close the door, this big figure comes through the door, and it's actually like a man with features and everything. I've never seen this man day in my life, and however, he looked like someone else, but it was Dante's presence. So like the spirit was familiar, like it's just the bodysuit was different, and he came in and he fussing and cussing and he's threatening me, like telling me he was gonna unalive me and all that stuff. And so I'm just like, stuck. I'm just stuck because it's like, what can I do? Like, he done bust through the door already. So like I can't like push him out. And he was just so much like, Dante is a big guy, but like he was bigger than Dante. So it was like I couldn't do nothing. And then it was like, some Muslim people lived, like literally in real life, lived next door to me, and I have never seen this Muslim person far as like living next door to me. However, in this dream, the Muslim girl came through the wall like a spirit or a ghost, and she pushed him, like it was like a quick swift force. She pushed him out of the door and sent him out, and then she moseyed herself right on back through the wall. And I just woke up with like this intense, like, I do have dreams like this, like where and it's not always, but I do have dreams where like physically what was going on in the dream, once I wake up physically, like my heart matches what I feel in the dream. So like my heart was racing. Some people call it nightmares, but I just say like it aligns. Physically it is aligning what's going on, I guess, spiritually. And I just remember after that feeling this calmness, like I wasn't afraid anymore. Cause prior to that I was like definitely afraid. I literally had a whole routine when I would go out to my car, like, cause I just always felt like, something was gonna happen to me. I even know my algorithm before he died was completely different, on my like social media page. Like I would constantly see these clips of somebody was going to be like some women who have been unalived by their boyfriends. Like I constantly would get those clips. I constantly would see stuff about narcissistic abuse. So my algorithms be on point for me. But I constantly would see that, and I always was very cautious about my life after that. Like it literally became this thing. Like I feel for anybody who's had to go through this, but like to just be having to be on point like that all the time. I mean, the man had came like where he was stalking my job and all kind of stuff. So like, um, I literally did. He had literally threatened me, himself. So like, I just didn't know what to expect. And then after I had that dream, it was kind of like all that shit just washed off of me. It's like, you don't gotta be afraid of him no more. Like, what's done is done. And then we ended up having this argument. The argument happened maybe like it happened like a week. It was exactly a week to the day that he passed away. Which a lot of eerie shit happens with him. It's synchronicities, but because it's a sad situation, I call it weird or freaky or irony. But literally when I left to kind of like try to protect my safety, I used to tell him like, we'll give each other a year, and if you can do these things, and things could change, we could try to get back together. Like basically like a separation for people who were married. Like, we're gonna separate. We're not gonna mess with each other. We just gonna, you know, figure out things, and if we feel like we want to come back together, we'll come back together. That definitely helped calm him down at moments. So that was kind of like my way of where he would be more on the violent side or trying to put fear in me and intimidation in me. Like, I would literally try to like hone him in with that like hope. And for some people I would say don't do that, but I knew my abuser because I lived with him, and it is funny because he always used to be like, a kitten can't trick a cat, and I always laugh now because it's like I literally had to learn how to outsmart him in order to outlive him. And I never wanted, anything bad to happen to him, but if it came between me and him, then I'm choosing me. And it took me a lot to get to that point. It took me a whole fucking lot to get to that point, and I'll never let nobody put me in that space again. That I would even question choosing myself. So, yeah, we definitely, I don't know, we as you can see, it turned out to be, what's that spy movie? Like, I feel like our relationship in the end turned out to be like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, it was just like only I wasn't trying to do anything to him. So I don't even know if that's an accurate account. It ain't Kill Bill either. Cause like I said, I wasn't really fucking with him. Like, I just felt like, leave me alone. Let me live. Let me be on my own. But I think he had got to a point where like I was his. Like, he just definitely got to a point where like I was his. If he couldn't have me, nobody could have me, type of shit. And I don't see how that's love. Like, anybody that's distributing behavior like that towards you is not love. That's some sick shit. Because if you love something, you would definitely let it go. If you love something, you would definitely want it to be at its best. And if it's not at its best with you, then why hold it there? So a lot of stuff happened. But I have been able to like let go of a lot of the pain. One day I will read our text message exchange, and get some context to it, but it's eerie. I literally stood up for myself. A lot of the things I said in the text message ended up coming true. I basically, not that it just came true, it's just that I had to stand on business on what I said, and I'm happy I did. Yeah, it just, I don't know, it just kind of felt like once I finally stood up for myself to him, that's when he, man, that's when he, excuse me, my dog over here doing her, but that's when, he ended up passing away. So whether that is go hand in hand, whether it's, coincidence, I really don't be caring no more. Like, some people believe in coincidences, some people believe stuff aligns. For me, I believe that things align. I believe both things can coexist, that it could be coincidence and things can align, but too many fucking things have aligned for me not to believe that things align. Um, but I thank him. He definitely he freed me whether he realized it or not. And for real, I do feel like he's at peace. Like, I'm not talking about the things that was attached to him. May they burn for an eternity. But I feel like him at his core self, I got immediately that he was at peace. Like, immediately I felt his soul at peace. I had dreams with him, and it was closure for me at times. So now it's just riding the waves of grief, and basically I rarely ever get guilt. I think I don't get guilt as much as because, I tried every fucking thing I could. I definitely did. I gave that relationship my all. So much so that I should have never even gave certain parts of me away like that. And that was a learning lesson for me. But yeah, that was a hard one this weekend. But it was doable. It was manageable. Yeah. It feels good though to know that, I could love him for the good times that we had, but still move on with my life. Cause that was one of the things when he initially died. It was like, well, how do I move on? If I still love him, and how do I move on with my life? And it's very much more simple and than what I thought. I think I was just letting other people in my head more so of them and their opinions, but whether he loved me properly or not, like, I definitely loved him, and that's how it is, and that's where I'm at. We had some good times, we had some bad times, and I thank God that, I made it to the other side. I'm sad that he didn't. Because that's what my dream was, whether we were together or not, was that he made it out of what he was going through. I also do a lot of things in my head. Like, I play on, his name was Dante, and being with him was like Dante's Inferno. Like, I escaped the different levels of hell, and and that's what it felt like too. But it made me stronger. So like I said, I always had to give thanks, and it made me fearless too. It made me scared a lot too, but it also made me fearless in a sense too. I felt like once I survived that, like, I could survive anything, and that's what I've been doing. I've been learning that, like, my hardest battle and my hardest test was facing myself. Not facing other people's demons, but facing my own. And once I was able to face my own, things have gotten better for me. So, a lot better. Once I started to give myself love and the love and grace that I gave other people, like, things are a lot better. Like, I love myself now, and I can say that with a smile. When I used to have to say that, I used to say that with tears in my eyes because I didn't believe the shit, and it was like, I don't love myself. And it was like, who the fuck are you trying to, trick? Like, but now I would say if you definitely are struggling with, like, positive affirmations or talking positive to yourself, keep doing the positive talk. Like, it becomes natural after a while, and you do start to believe it. So just keep going. Another thing for me this weekend was, I think Friday, I realized, like, I'm so fucking isolated. And that's saying something for me because I'm so fucking introverted, and I really don't care. Sorry, I have a lighter because I was lighting my sage. But I really don't care. I really don't care about a lot of social interaction. I'm more of a girly who, when it comes to people, it's quality over quantity. So, however, I've been blessed, like, I don't know what, to have people in my life that are good people, that are loving people, and some have been there from the start. Some I've acquired over, time, and then some are being given to me, not given to me, but like, being put in my path. And they are new, but they are still just safe as fuck. And I love it. However, I realize how isolated as fuck I am. Like, I've been invited to stuff and I can't go. My car is broke down. So I can't go. Financially, like, you know, I could get my car fixed. But financially, like, I would just be able, like, it'll be like my car is fixed, but I don't have a gas to go nowhere. So it's gonna be baby steps with getting my car fixed. It'll be like, oh well, yeah, your car fixed now, but you don't got the spending money to go do something. So it's I don't know. I'm just baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. We gotta go through the storm sometimes, And I think me having to reset and start all over, like, I've been through worse. So I think that gets me through this too, is knowing that, like, this too shall pass, because it really is. Like, literally grew up without a car. I literally grew up, like, I grew up poor, so I definitely know what it is to go without. But I've also, growing up poor, I learned how to distract myself from being poor. So what happened this weekend, though, is like I ran out of distractions. Like, I have worked myself to the bone, and I'm so tired that I just need a break from work. And when I say I've worked myself to the bone, I don't mean like, taking clients. I mean like the stuff that's behind the scene. Like, I'm working on 1,000,001 projects, and I'm doing them because I want to, not because I feel forced. However, like, I literally need a break from them. Like, I'm literally just constantly learning. Like, I have a let me see if I can show you. So I have a schedule. So in yellow this is my personal phone, not even my business schedule. So this is my personal phone. And so, like, I have every day, I at least study for 2 hours. And when I say study, that is anything that is in my field of work. So like with my business stuff, the spiritual advisor stuff, like, I literally dedicate 2 hours a day to study it, whether there's learning about chakras, because, everybody thinks there's only 7, but I've learned that there are so many different chakras, and I'm definitely am getting, super called to and super excited about healing. So I definitely have been studying stuff like that, astrology, you name it. I've been studying it too. And if anybody thinks astrology is evil, who created the goddamn stars, the moon, the galaxy, the universe? Like, why do you feel like astrology is evil? Like, why would the creator, because I don't think it's he or she. I think it's a combination of both feminine and, masculine energy. But why would he create that? Why would the creator create that? Excuse me. Why would the creator create that if they did not want us to utilize it for the greater good? So, yeah. And I haven't burst into flames yet, so that should tell you something. And when I was going through hell, I was going through hell dealing with people and their issues. But, the more I get into other stuff, it doesn't feel hellish at all. Now, I will say there is some avenues in the spiritual world that, I do tell people to stay in their lane. I know what my lane is. I know what feels safe to me. But I feel like if you have not learned discernment, stay your ass out of certain stuff. But for me, I know my lane, and I know how far I can go into stuff. And, I feel very fine. I feel like I walked with the demons and the devils and all that shit, before I got into spirituality. So, they were there. They were in the family. They were next door. They were everywhere. They're still everywhere. So to me though, I don't really typically look at it like, just the devil. Like I look at it like as entities, spirits. You can have good spirits and bad spirits, and some things like to attach themselves to other people. And if you don't face your shit, like you never learn how to gain control over it. I think that's for me my lesson in life was people say like fighting your demons. Yeah, like you gotta learn self-control. Like the devil don't hate God, the devil hate us. I just want to say that for some people, like the devil don't hate God, the devil hate us. And sometimes I realize it's for good reason, because some of y'all need to take accountability and start blaming the devil. Just because the devil came and tempted your ass with a good offer, don't get mad at the devil. Learn your lesson and don't do that shit again. That's how I see the devil. But a lot of people don't see the devil that way. A lot of people see the devil as they gon', blame the devil for every goddamn thing. There are some things out here far worse than the devil, I'll say. There's things out here that takes your free will away. So I would say, at least the devil gives you free will. He is a tricky little thing. He'll tempt you, but he does not force you. And I always just, I don't know, I'm at the point in life where, like, that shit don't bother me. A mistake is a lesson. Just don't let the mistakes keep repeating. And that's what I was trapped in. Repeating cycles of lessons over and over again, never learning them. That's called insanity, right? Keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different results. That's insanity. So a lot of us are trapped in our own insane, karmic, repeated cycles. And until we break free of them, by acknowledging that, number one, we are in abusive cycles, and then number two, what part are we playing in our own abusive cycles? I think I made a poem where I said, you can blame, but like not to get stuck there. Like it is okay to blame those who have caused you harm. It is okay to blame those who have, like your parents would be a prime example. Like, more than none, your parents fuck you over. Like, and it's just period. They're human beings, and they're basically, they're trying to grow up and find themselves while raising you. And a lot of old school parenting came from oppression. So your parents probably are the number one people who have set you on the path and trajectory for your generational curses or your trauma bonds and traumatic experiences. And it's like once you get grown and you realize that, the first initial thing you want to do is say, you fucked me up. And it's true. They did. They fucked you up. And that's okay. It's okay to blame. It's not okay to get stuck there, because now that you're grown, you have control over you. They no longer have control over you unless you allow that to have control over you. And 9 times out of 10, most of the old school parents are not going to even fucking admit. They're not going to give you validation for where they screwed up. Just because their parents didn't allow for that for them, they can't give it to you. So now that you're, awakened and you can see it, your goal is to make the hard but good changes in your life, to not do the same to your children or yourself. Like, so it's phases to growth. I feel like if you're still stuck in the blaming phase, it's okay. It did happen to you. You have a right to be mad and upset. You have a right to feel sad and pain. I would just say don't get stuck there. How long you should be there is definitely situational. It looks different for all of us. So It could take years to get out of it. It could take months for some. So it all varies. But just knowing that, you don't want to get stuck there. Another thing that I've been learning is like healing is not fucking linear. Sometimes it can be a spiral. Sometimes it can be a slopey slope. And then sometimes there's a plateau, and that's what you think is linear, but that shit don't feel good either all the time. Like, I think that's what I was dealing with this weekend, where it's just like, I am at this plateau, right? Like, there was nothing for me to conquer. There was nothing for me to overcome. It's like, I had all these things that I needed to do for myself. For my finances, for, every, like, little things that I was told to do. I'm doing them. Some of them I've done them. So it's some completion to some things, and then, some things are continuous. But it was like I just hit this like plateau, and then I realized like, well, when all the growing, and the business matters and all that stuff is being taken care of, like, what do I have? And I started to realize like I have these connections with people, but I'm not having fun. And I missed having fun. And I think right now it's like, it's sad and mundane that I can't have fun. I just have to, and then that's another thing, I have to rewrite what fun is to me when I can't socialize and be around other people. Because you can make your own fun just like you have to make your own happiness. So that was the thing that I guess I was like struggling with, is like I felt this like plateau. And it's like, well, I done gave myself the self-love. I done put and poured into myself in this business and the people that is around me every day. But I just want to have fun with other people. Like, I want to get, out of this. Like, I've seen the same environment for a while now. I just want to have fun. And it was hard, but I talked to my best friend, and she was definitely uplifting. And then I talked to my other best friend from Georgia, and he helped a lot too. And it was simple as like, girl, you better go pick your switch up. And it was like, you right. Like, I played myself out of the PS5. Like, I played the hell out of Hogwarts to the point that like I'm almost at like 100% completion. So it's to the point like I don't even want to see that shit. Like, so he was like, well, pick up your Switch. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. I ain't played my Switch in a long time. And guess what? I don't even want to play nothing like real super hard. I wanted to play the Legos. Like, that's like one of my favorite lighthearted games is the Lego series. I just get to break shit. I get to break shit and build shit. And I'm playing the Legos Villains one. With like the Joker and all that stuff. So yeah. I love that about the Legos game. Like, I get to fuck shit up and then I get to build shit. So it works out perfectly. So that's where I'm at for this weekend. And then it was like Sunday. So it was like Friday was like almost like this doom and gloom. It was like, bitch, you have no life. Bitch, you stuck. You can't go nowhere. Like, all your friends are this many miles away. And then it turned into be Saturday. It was like, bitch, your nigga dead. He dead. You don't got nobody. But then it was like, no, I got myself. I gained myself with that situation. I think I ended up writing about that. I gained myself. When I lost him, I gained myself. When I lost him, I started healing for real. Like, I had tried to heal while I was there, but it's hard to heal in a toxic environment. It was hard to heal while I was fearing for my life. So even once I left, it was hard to heal. And then we were just so deeply attached to each other. Um, and like I said, like every day I think about him. Like I can't not think about him. Like we got matching tattoos and everything. So, and we just got that shit is engraved in my heart. Like it's an experience with him that's engraved in my heart. And so I can never, not think about him. And he's definitely one of my ancestors that protect me. Baby, when I'm in situations where I need protecting, like this nigga comes up. Like I mean like nobody's business. Like he have a whole full conversation with me about how I better stop playing. And like I've had a situation where he have told me, you gotta get the fuck up out of here and go. Like and I listen too, because I was like, okay, if he said that, like yeah, I need to go. And that was one thing too, like in that relationship, the confusion, right? So he was a protector like nobody's fucking business. Like, and I think if you was his family or you was a friend of his, like you knew this. He will protect you like nobody business. He did not play about people he loved. He did not play about people he loved. Like, don't fuck over his loved ones. Like, and when it came to me, like, he did not play. Um, he'll go to war for me. And I never abused that power or nothing like that. Like I never had him in fucked up situations. I just didn't believe in it. Um, but when there was some situations, like he would go to bat for me. So however, what confuses me and most other people in the relationships like that, like, is that he couldn't protect me from himself. So even though he was protecting me from everybody else, like he became like my number one abuser. So it's weird like that. But now that he's passed over, like he is one of my number one protectors. Like he do not play about me. And there are some other ones too that don't play about me. There's people in real life that don't play about me. And I ain't gonna say real life. There's people in this 3D realm that don't play about me. So um yeah, like definitely. Still feel his presence. It's just the 3D missing in part. But I gained myself when I lost him. I gained healing when I lost him. And I gained self love when I lost him. It had already started budding, but when I lost him, it like full fledged started blooming. It's funny because when I did my psychic development class with Indigo Wellness, Raven told me that I was I was a steel rose, and that stuck with me because I always like Tupac's poem "Rose That Grew from Concrete." Like that was one of my favorite poems, and from Tupac, because I love like a lot of poets. So I have many favorites. It's just like music. I have many favorites and many favorite artists, but that resonated with me because I always looked at myself as the rose that grew from concrete. But she put another layer to it because like she was like, you're like a steel rose. Like you got the metal spine and with the thorns and stuff. But then you're still like this this flower. So I always think of myself that way since she said it. But I always looked at myself as this delicate flower, but it's not fit to be fucked with. Like it grew out of concrete, and but I love the rose, the steel rose. That's me. That's just me. I'm so many things though. That's one thing I've learned through this whole spiritual journey is that I can't be boxed in. I am so many things, and I do not choose to be boxed in by religion, um, by cultures, none of that stuff. Like whatever resonates to me, and I'm no longer going to hold myself back from exploring, from self discovery. I'm not gonna hold myself back from um just being myself because I'm just not one of those people that's just like I'm not okay with the box. I'm not okay. Let's rip the fucking box to shred and let's make something else. And then when I'm done and tired of that, let's make something else. So, you know, I'm a lot of different things. So, you can't pinpoint me. All you can do is ride the wave. One of the biggest things too for me is I grew up, I've been clear, I grew up Christian with a Christian faith. And that still lays in my heart. Like literally, I read the Bible when I feel called to read the Bible. I tell people all the time, I read the Quran when I feel called to read the Quran. I read, you know, religious text, period. I read, yeah, just about anything when I feel called to go find answers or seek certain truths. And one of the things that I remember most was a saying that like all weapons formed against me will not prosper. And so I grew up with that. And I am finding now, and I've seen this before, like I didn't come up with this. Like none of this stuff, I'm original, but like I will use other things that I've seen along the way, and then we're supposed to, because some people haven't heard them before, and you're supposed to inspire others. So um one of the things that I came across, I don't remember where I seen it, but I've been using it ever since I seen it, is all weapons formed against me make me prosper. And it literally has been working out for me that way. And I say that shit now with conviction. Like, all weapons formed against me make me prosper. So, like, whatever trap or trick you set up for me, it helps me. So, keep setting them. And watch out. Don't fall into it. Oh, man. Because all weapons formed against me make me prosper. And they honestly do. So, I don't know. I think that's all I got for y'all today. I did want to talk about too. I had a lot of things too, because I've been actually thinking about homeschooling Charlotte. I haven't told y'all about our experience with this school system. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this video is just a catch-all. So her school doesn't have advanced programs for the middle schoolers. So literally when Charlotte, like accelerated classes, like when Charlotte was going to school in the county, they definitely had like accelerated classes for them. And I think Charlotte had took 8th grade English and history in the 7th grade. Math is not her strong suit, so she hadn't had accelerated classes for that. And then science, they was basing it on her SOLs, which I don't care about. But however, like when she took science in her 7th grade year, she actually was like one of the top students out of all the students in science. So I think she was in the works of getting put into advanced science, but we're not sure because I haven't looked at her transcripts. But I definitely know math and history and English. She was, and she's always been with English because her mom loves English. I don't like grammar, but I love English. So, and when I say English, I'm definitely talking about not the English language, but the literature part of it. Yeah, so she's basically repeating 2 classes. I reached out to the principal, and basically the ignorant people basically told her that when you get to 9th grade, you'll be put into accelerated classes then. But it's like, but you're making her repeat the classes all over again she already took. But It's literally a funding issue. It's not the ignorant people. I just said the ignorant people because I feel like, can you not bullshit us and just tell us you can't accommodate us? Like, don't try to mad fuck us because like we're too many miles ahead of that. So that's why I say ignorant people, because I don't like the way that they try to talk to my child like she's dumb, and then didn't even email me back to let me know that that was your option. You just straight told the child that that was her option, that she had no option. And then they put her in an advanced enrichment class, with the enrichment class is kind of like the study hall class. So that just means that she's in the study hall with other kids that they deem advanced. So what she said is basically the same thing as the study hall she had before. There's no instruction. It's just free time, kind of. And so yeah, she really is not feeling it. So we're basically, she wants to do homeschooling again, which I think at first I was completely fucking against, because I'm like, I don't have time to myself as is. I'm sure in a fucking room with you. But I think for her sake and for mine, we just gonna have to do homeschooling, because I'm not sure if she's getting what she needs from this school system, because she definitely says that number one, she's learning the same 2 subjects over, and then number 2, you know, the curriculum is not robust. So yeah, I think we just gonna go ahead and swap that one out. So it looks like, you know, maybe in a couple of weeks I'm gonna start preparing myself to do homeschooling, which I have not taught any middle school subjects. I have tutored high school subjects, but I have not done any middle school teaching before, which I don't think it's about what she can learn anyway. And it's weird because I told her, like, you know, if we were ever to be financially stable, not if we were ever, excuse me, when we are financially stable, like, I was thinking about allowing her to homeschool, maybe for a year or two. And then just, I don't know what the economy is going to look like. So I've been preparing myself to homeschool maybe when she got to high school. But it's always been this conflict, because it's like, you know, she's gonna miss out on prom and all this stuff that, you know, social things that high school does bring. And that's what we had a problem with when I homeschooled her in elementary school, is that she that social aspect. So we had to put her in, like, you know, after school programs, just so she can have like some type of social life, and then some other enrichment outside of, you know, me teaching her. So yeah, like she did robotics and boxing and what else? She did something else too. But I think that's going to be a conflict. She probably is going to want to have a traditional high school upbringing. But I was like thinking, if I was to be financially stable, like, we could travel. And like, do you know how much a child can learn, like, from traveling to different countries? And like, I already got the teaching background, so like, you'll learn what you need to learn there, but like, you'll literally learn even more history wise and culture wise and life wise. Like, I think we get too caught up sometimes of kids being stuck in a classroom all day learning that way. Like, that sounds like torture. It's torture for the teachers too. We don't like it either. That was one of the bright sides of the school that I worked at. It was in our charter that we had to go to the park that was right there, near the school, and integrate learning with the park. So that was one of the bright sides. But it also was a detriment too, because if you didn't integrate shit and you just went to the park and played, then your kids didn't learn. So and this was outside of just, you know, them having their recess time. This was literally in the charter that they needed to go to the park and have an integrated lesson. So which was dope. I like that. However, like I said, if it wasn't being utilized properly, it could be a detriment as well. But yeah, so I've been thinking about homeschooling, which will mean that I need to download the whole curriculum. I gotta go to the Department of Education website and look at her curriculum for eighth grade shit. And when it comes to teaching her anyway, she gets taught at home anyway. She has always been like, if you have seen pictures in the past, like the girl grew up with like a word wall and um like when she was real little, like it was the phone and the address and the alphabets and pictures, and like we sat down and did all of this, like cut the stuff out together. um she would help color the like pictures, like so for the letter B, it's B. We draw a little B. So like she's grown up with a foundation of learning is outside of school. And I think that's something beautiful to teach your kids. Like when she needed to learn about money, we literally would I go in the grocery store and be like, well, this costs this much, like how much is your change? Learning can occur outside of school, and I think real life experiences is the best way to learn. So like I would find that her math was better when she had play money to play with math, and when she had grocery store experiences to look at how much her piece of candy she once cost, and she got this much money, she can realize, price and change and all that stuff. So real life experiences does matter a whole lot. So she lucky there that I do have experiences with teachers. I do not think that you have to have a college education to know how to teach your child. You know, I definitely do think, if you did not enjoy school, that you do need to brush up on some skills if you are thinking about homeschooling. But there's a whole lot of ways to teach your children, other than the ways you were taught in school. So we're thinking about that. I think in a couple of weeks, maybe a month, I might pull her out. And maybe by ninth grade we'll be at the place that we'll call home. And if she wants to do school, she can do school. But if she wants to do homeschooling, we can do homeschooling. And this is home too, but it's, I want my own. But yeah, that's where we're at with homeschooling. Oh, another thing, I'm gonna end with this. Like, I think that a lot of times we confuse motivation with consistency. And one of the things I'm learning about starting this business, healing, all that stuff. So like just my self-development. I'm gonna just say my self-development period. Some days you are not going to be motivated. Some days you are not going to be motivated. I'm going to say it again. Some days you are not going to be motivated. And then there's going to be days where you have the like best motivation in this world and you are very much getting things done. And that is whether this is your self-care, self-love, your job or your business or whatever you can think of. Like some days you're not gonna have the motivation, but I think the key to it is doing it anyway. So even on the days that you lack motivation, just doing it anyway. Do it anyway. Now, knowing the difference between lacking motivation and needing a break is a good thing. You can lack motivation and not necessarily need a break. You just think of it as being a author who, needs to write a book, but they're having writer's block. I look at that as lacking the motivation. Like you just have a block up there, right? So, and you can still have a block and not lack the motivation. You could really want to do it, but it's nothing coming through to you. But I just wanted to use that. Or a painter who's painting, but they want to paint, but maybe they just don't have the inspiration to do it. So I think of it, I guess I'll say that the inspiration. So inspiration, motivation. I'm gonna pair them together. You still can be consistent even though you lack motivation and inspiration. Just do it. Do what you can. And if you need rest or a break, that's something different. Definitely allow yourself rest in this world. There's this culture of go go go, do, and it's easy to get burned out. So, and I know I'm a person who has burned myself out multiple times in my life, and I definitely enjoy my rest. And rest does not mean sleep. Rest can mean watching junk TV. Rest can be taking a nice shower or a bubble bath. Rest can be walking outside barefoot, getting grounded, touching grass. So, but I did want to say that just because you lack motivation does not mean that you can't be consistent. So, I'm gonna end with that, and I'm gonna make some snippets of all this stuff I've been talking about because there's some jewels in here. So I'm gonna get to it. I got work to do, but I'm also gonna rest today. I tried to rest this weekend, but emotionally, like it was just coming at me. Um, yeah, it was. Saturday I did get out of the house though, which helped with that cabin fever feeling. And but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I did get to get out of the house, but I don't have a car, so I can only get out of the house when other people want to get out of the house. Cause I don't want to drive anybody's car and anything happen to it and I get blamed. Cause I I could barely afford to pay for the one that I got. So to get that fixed. So that's that. Till next time. I love y'all. Give yourself some grace and get to it. You got some healing to do. Y'all get sick of me talking about healing. All right, bye-bye.